All right, it is time now for our legal segment. Joining us live in studio is attorney Jahan Crump Gibson from Great Lakes Legal Group to give us some legal clarity on the purpose of having a property survey done and how it can help with those sometimes bothersome neighbor disputes. Jahan, it's good to see you. How are you doing?
Good to see you. Wonderful. How are you?
Hey, good. So property surveys, why are they so important, and really, what are they?
Yeah. So a property survey is going to tell you basically everything that affects the property, right? So where your property, you know how people are about their property lines. These are my property line. So where your property line is, if there's any sort of access that someone's been given to use it in the past. So whether it's you have a shared driveway or there's some path back to the woods or a beach, depending on where you live. So it clarifies all those things. And a lot of times people either don't get them when they're purchasing property, or they get them and they don't read them, and then they got to go dig them back out years later when you get in a fight with that neighbor.
Why is it, and I know especially nowadays, because over the summer we've seen a lot of trees that have been knocked down on properties. Why is it so important to read that paperwork or sit down with an attorney and have at least an attorney explain this to you? Sure.
You're talking about trees. It's triggering for me. I had quite a big one come. Yes, I'm still triggered. But it's important because you need to understand, is the tree on both my property and my neighbor's? Because if so, what we do with that tree, you both have to consent to it, right? Is it only on mine, but some of the branches are going over the other neighbor's property? Well, they have a right to trim them, right? But they also can't just do something to kill your tree, right? So that ends up being important in understanding where the tree actually sits and whose responsibility it is.
Is this something that people should look at before they buy the house? Is it something that can be done in the process, maybe after closing? When is a good time to do this?
The best time is before. So when you're purchasing a property, and this is why we always say go through a title company, they're professionals, you're going to want to get a couple of things. A survey, ideally, and a commitment. The title commitment is what tells us what's actually recorded in the public record. So like who's owned it before, if AT&T has access to run a line over it, right? Things of that sort. So ideally you get it up front so you know what you're walking into. That doesn't always happen. Surveys, some folks don't want to pay for them, or they want the seller to pay for it, so you're going back and forth and negotiating. But really, it's important to protect your rights as an owner, you know? And a lot of times when people don't do it beforehand, the issue may not come up for 30, 40, 50 years. It may be your kids or your grandkids that are dealing with it in the future.
So you're setting them back if you're not taking care of the issue right now. I also read that this is something that when you're maybe thinking about reselling your property, this can help tremendously. And why is that?
Sure, because you're understanding, again, what your boundary line is, what someone can do. People want to erect fences. They may want to do a pool. There are all sorts of things that may make the property more marketable or just fun for the people that want to buy it and live in it. And you want to understand what you can do without dealing with some drama from your neighbors.
And correct me here if I'm wrong, it is never good to just maybe skip the paperwork and have that verbal agreement with your neighbor.
Yeah, I mean, that verbal agreement with your neighbor, honestly, there's a whole body of case law around it. You know, because you can say, hey, it's totally fine, go ahead, I don't care. But then your grandkids down the year may see someone, why are they doing this? This is our property, right? So that verbal agreement works until it doesn't, right? So it's always a good idea to do things the right way and not skip the paper process. But worst case scenario, if you don't, we're here for you.
There you go. Jahan, it's always a pleasure. If you ever need legal advice, Great Lakes Legal Group, you can find them on their website, gllegalgroup.com. Again, it's a pleasure, and hope you have a great week.
Always. Thanks, you too.